lot of my focus is Viking, on Viking objects. But when it comes to things like combs, bone pins, as Susan was just saying, the tools, the techniques are very much the same, certainly for the early medieval Pictish kind of period. So if I show, for example, we'll start with the very top of the range in the Antler objects. We have combs, and something like that is a double-sided comb, which is very typical of one seen from the late Roman age right through to into the Pictish period in Scotland. I mean, they were still in use. And double-sided combs have never gone out of use. You buy plastic ones at the chemists now for removing head lice. Comb and mirror is one of the commonly seen Pictish symbols that presumably meant something to the Picts, but we can only speculate on exactly what that meant. So you've got there, see, comb for combing your hair, and the mirror there. So that's made of polished metal. That is a more typical Viking age comb. This is based on one from the Northern Isles, and I actually made that one out of reindeer antler. Did everybody see the cross section through the antler? What we do with that is we can cut another section from that, cut away the spongy bit, and we're left with a plate of solid antler which has a grain, so you have to make sure you've cut that along the length of the antler, and that gives us what's known as the tooth plate for the comb. So you see that's come from a section of an antler there like that. If we do that using saws, like this one's based on one that was found from a Viking age tool chest from Gotland in Sweden, very rare find of what looks like quite a complete tool kit. So we'll use that for big cuts, for cutting up the antlers, cutting the sections of antler into the flat plates. And we'd use files like these. Anybody who wants to have a go with bone later will see what they can do to the skeletal material. Finer files for the shaping down to that. And then once we have several of those pieces, I can assemble this on here. We take several of these pieces of antler, assemble them together in a line like that, and then having already pre-cut a piece from along the length of the beam of the antler, like so. That gives you what we call a side plate. And you sandwich your tooth plates between the side plates of the comb, like so. You drill through, and I have it now. It's a hump drill here, which is a very ancient sort of way of turning a flat drill bit. Still in use by jewellers today. I have a modern one back in the workshop with a flywheel on there. That's used for drilling through the antler. And so then we rivet those pieces together. Like you see there. So you see that makes a bit more sense of the comb. Then once we've done that, you see these are not quick things to make. It'll take a full day, 8 hours to make a sort of medium-sized comb, smaller than that one. Once we've done that, then we need to keep a tight hold of the assembled comb, and using a finer saw, cut the teeth into it. And even then, it's not finished, because all of the combs that are found have some form of decoration, either saw and line designs like this, or things like a ring and dot design. We'll come to see later how we make some of those designs. So that's the basics of a Viking age comb. What I want to use that for is for making combs. That's come from the beam of an antler. So on one of these antlers, that's come from that area there, because I find that's where the flattest, thickest parts of the antler wall come from. It's from the first beam. The second beam there is usually rounder in cross section, so that's good for making your long side plates for a cone, like that. This is my Viking Age Mastermere type saw. Given the similarity of the Viking Age cone making to the Pictish cone making, I have no doubt that they would have had, you know, similar tools in Scotland before. And see, so that's, yeah, not that difficult to get through, but obviously for making a cone I need to do that another 3 times at the very least. So then we start shaping that down. I could continue with that, because I think what we really want to get to is cone assembly and tooth cutting. So this is a Pictish period high-backed cone. The very earliest cones in the sort of 4th, 5th century in Germany just put a rivet centrally through each tooth plate as they assembled the cones. They moved on from that by about the, we're talking about 6th, 7th century for this style of cone. They'd moved on from there through not realising that they didn't necessarily have to put a hole through every tooth plate, because what you can do is you can put a hole at the junction between 2 tooth plates, and so you only have to drill 1 hole through, and it holds 2 tooth plates in place. And several people have had a go with the plump drill here, which has a sharpened tool steel flat bit on it. Cut, therefore, cuts in both directions using the spinning motion and the weight of the soapstone flywheel. This is the method I've come up with for assembling these cones, based on finds, based on discovery in places like York of side plates, connecting plates that had holes already drilled in them, of tooth plates with notches out of the side where the rivets were clearly intended to go through. Just go over the holes there and widen them out at each end so that they countersunk, which will help the rivets grip in place. Because now this is a process of making the holes in each of the pieces so that it lines up properly. We've got the first one in, so you can see we can start to assemble the cone from that point. This is not something that was done quickly. Pieces are really tricky. I'll also make a point that I don't know of any finds of drill bits at this sort of size. We've got the rivet holes. Yeah. In sheet metal, they could potentially have been punched through rather than drilled. This is what makes Antler particularly good for cone making. It has that sort of flexibility in its structure.
Okay, relax, thank you.
It's got a nice tooth to it now.
So
When you're working between the tooth plates, do you widen that the natural joining to a curve?